New York State Exposed tonight, we're taking a deeper look into the minimum wage. Supporters say it's needed to help people make ends meet, but business leaders tell us it could mean job cuts and higher prices for you. Well, we've brought you both sides of the issue, and we've shown you how Governor Cuomo is traveling across the state to make $15 an hour, the new minimum wage. But if the rate goes up, how will it impact nonprofits? Brett Davidson took that question to them. How do they say it's going to impact their work, Brett?
Well, Janet, they say it could be devastating. Many nonprofits run on a very tight budget, so they say a major jump in labor costs could mean job cuts if the state doesn't provide more funding to pay those higher wages. Something opponents say will mean more burden for taxpayers. For more than 30 years, Heritage Christian Services has been serving the developmentally disabled in our community.
We operate group living arrangements for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, day rehabilitation programs. We have employment services, child care services for the full community.
Heritage President Marissa Geithner says the need for their services is already outpacing what they can offer, and a proposal to raise the minimum wage could be devastating. Geithner says 83% of their employees are making less than $15 an hour, and to raise those wages would cost the agency $8.6 million.
We wouldn't be able to certainly continue to keep pace with the need. Rather, we would probably look at what programs and services we would need to no longer offer.
Governor Cuomo has made the fight for 15 a cornerstone of his agenda this legislative session. He's been crisscrossing the state, holding rallies to try to raise support for a $15 minimum wage, while portraying those who oppose it as greedy corporations who don't want to pay their workers more money.
The income inequality, the polarity, the polarization is worse than ever before. And the economy doesn't work unless it's fair for everyone.
But even as businesses warn of the impact on jobs, nonprofits are often state-funded and have fixed revenue streams. According to a survey by the New York Council of Nonprofits on the impact of a $15 minimum wage, 97% said they would reduce their workforce. 92% said their financial viability would be threatened. Reached by phone in Albany today, Assembly Minority Leader Brian Kolb called it a potential disaster.
This is a very significant bad public policy, whether or not it's phased in.
The Assembly's spending priority resolution, called the One House Bill, does include $200 million to support any labor costs related to the first year of minimum wage increase for programs funded by the state. But Kolb says the impact on the healthcare industry alone would be $3 billion annually when fully phased in.
There's no way that New York State government is going to be able to supplement these costs through the state budget, which basically, whatever costs there are, they're still putting it on the back of the taxpayer.
Geithner, meantime, says she supports a higher wage, but says they can't do it on their own.
We're excited. We want to work alongside the governor. We appreciate the support. We want to advance wage. We just need a little help in understanding how that's going to be supported.
The governor has said he'd prefer the minimum wage hike to be included in the budget, but says he's open to it being negotiated after the budget is enacted. If you want to be heard on the $15 minimum wage, you can weigh in at nyfightfor15.org. You can find a link to that page on our website at WHEC.com. Janet?
Oh, so many people talking about this. What's the likelihood that the wage hike passes?
Well, it's almost a certainty it'll pass in the Assembly, but it's likely to come down to negotiations in the Senate, where Republicans have a razor-thin majority and get support from independent Democrats.
Brett Davidson, thank you very much. The governor says a wage hike would cut down on taxpayer assistance for those who are eligible for supplemental services like welfare and food stamps.